Hi, Capricorn. All right, Happy New Year, Capricorn. Welcome to your 2023 reading. Whoo! If you are new to this place, welcome. Welcome to this new year. And of course, if we've seen each other before, welcome back. All right, Capricorn, I want to just mention a few things. We have some messages that came, an overall energy, a challenge card, and then we'll go month to month. And I will timestamp them. So a few things to mention. It's actually been a few attempts for me to do your reading. There had been so much going on that I kind of forgot that I had already done certain things and that certain things weren't done. So making a list, checking it twice, this will help. I also feel like perhaps a little bit of a pattern to be aware of this year would be I feel like work is really beautiful. Some of you could be feeling more creative about work. You could also be feeling I don't know, more attractive, or finding the beauty in other people, finding some really beautiful things this year. Now, because with you, I see work being, you can make a lot of money with work too, or at very least, it's something that feels fulfilling and rewarding. That's the perspective on it. That's the feeling around it. And you love to work, so make sure that you, after you work, that you eat. Make sure, check in with eating well, sleeping well. Take some time to do something that is purely a hobby of yours, okay? Something you just enjoy doing that doesn't have to do with anybody else, right? Okay. Serve. It's something about serving something with beauty. Sweet spot is also, you have a few words. Sweet spot. It's actually sweet. It turned into sweet spots. So there's multiple things that are happening, I guess, that are good. Getting in that sweet spot is a nice place to be, right? It's like finding something after a really long time. I also see some kind of ancestral awareness. Or ancestral, like, connection. Maybe you're learning about your family, or doing history, or just tapping into it emotionally, recognizing something about that. Happy love was also another combination of words, which I thought was beautiful. You know, sometimes love is very painful. So it's nice to have happy love. Why not? And then I kind of heard a bit of this sentence in the tune of a song. It was like, let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about what could be, all the good things and the bad things, all the good things and the bad things that may be, right? Which is showing a maturity, because actually in this Chariot year, you're going to be, I'll be posting you last on the roster. Although, again, you've been sprinkled and recorded throughout the whole zodiac. But it's like maybe the whole zodiac needed you to, like, hold these little pegs or these little places. Your energy is good like that, right? It's steady. But it's also one of those things where it's just like, yeah, why don't you, for instance, maybe there's a part of something where this year, where it's usually you have to do it all on your own, wherever that is for you, or where you hold that strong place all the time. You can still hold that, but it's also allowing others to be like, hey, why don't you step up, right? And I guess that's an expression of trusting other people. I would also say that if and when you need courage, oh, sorry, just a second. thought I turned this off. I'm so sorry. Okay. It was kind of an example where, again, there's like a thing that you always do yourself. It's like maybe this year, like, how would you like other people to be? How would you like the other people in your life to be? Not only who they are, but also a bit of what they do. And this could have to do with you. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe you have someone else scratch your back. Okay, let's look at your overall energy for the year, Capricorn. Woo! Death. Okay, so you have another major. Who else had it? You. Hold on. That's pretty powerful. You had it. Libra had it. Libra had the Chariot. You have the Death card. This is big change here. And you, perhaps for some of you where you live, we'll get into the deeper into that in a second. Oh, when you get scared, you start to deflect into other people, right? But that's because you want to have the right information so you can go about a situation. It's like the more information you have, the more settled you feel, right? Taurus also had the Emperor. Interesting. Let me make note of that. So it's Capricorn, Taurus. So double Saturn and Venus, double Venus. Venus squared. Holy. Okay, so it's a year, I suppose, that as this card represents great change, things that are within your control and things that are completely out of your control, perhaps, again, having to do with other people. I suppose we're all on different points in the path, and this isn't to scare anyone, but it's natural. It could be where someone in your family passes onto a new place, okay? A different place. Powerful. So, okay, let's start this out logically, right? Well, what changes do you feel like are happening where you can kind of feel it, like you can pick up on it, you know it's kind of like you've been there a while and you know, okay, I can feel it's that this needs to shift into a new place. This, for some things, this could be a long time coming. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like you expected it or you were aware of it. It's not, I don't feel like this is something that you're unaware of. It would be something that you already know. Do you know what I mean? And I suppose if you look at it that way, then, well, I suppose you'll feel more in line with the changes that are happening, right? Or that you want to change. Because this is like, I mean, it's a scary card, but you're not scared of this energy. Let's look at your challenge. Let's give ourselves a second. I'm going to start at 10. Your 10, let's see. Challenge, Capricorn. Okay. The 10 of Wands. The 10 of Wands. So 10s are very highlighted. We started on 10. Your challenge is a 10. You're also the most positive is a 10. So interesting, very interesting. So 30. 30 years ago. 30 years ago. It's something to consider. If you're specifically, excuse me, to be so close like that, I have to plug this in for good battery measure. Still there? Okay. 30 years ago. Think about that. I would also say 3 years ago. I see that was a good time, right? 3 years ago. So, challenge. Okay, so you could totally burn yourself. Some of you, if you're worried, if you're in worry war energy, since you're technically last on the roster at this point, meaning you've come all the way, it's a 10. Taurus had a lot of 10s too. It's like you come all the way around, and then what happens after this? You get the Ace of Wands, which is, in essence, the one that death is holding. But you have to trade something with death. You can't just get something from this place. You have to give to receive. You have to give to receive. As Libra said, less is more. I suppose there could be something in relation to work that could feel oppressive, or it could be where maybe you just get burnt out a little bit faster, or there's stress there. Now, I feel like this is a natural energy for you, so maybe it's more of a contemplation of, you know, perhaps some of you decide to change, like to retire. It could be where you're deciding and understand, okay, I have one more year in this, or I have 5 years in this, or I have 10 years in this. It's like being aware of it. There's some kind of contemplation. And remember, as this is a chariot year, you want to keep your, what it is that you want, keep that alive, keep that bright, right? The things that come from the heart that you want to create, right? The happy love, the ancestral awareness, finding that sweet spot. These are all really soft kind of energy. But this is what is kind of, maybe this is more happening in the world too. Please be aware that your responsibility, first and foremost, your world, your little bubble, wherever you go, that is what you are in charge of, okay? And if you do your best, I really don't feel like no, victory, I knew it. Valor, yes. Love, yes. With the King of Wands, which I feel like that's what's being desired in a way. But desire and reason, you want to make sure these are balanced, okay? Desire and reason. If you ever get too much into the negative, though, like where you it's easy for you to get stressed out. I mean, you love kind of being stressed out because you can check it off the list and you're like, all right, I'm ready. I got it. You know, there could be some things for some of you where you want to change them. Like you're like, or you know it needs to change, but you're like, when? And it's almost like you can only go a little bit at a time, and it's like waiting. I see something like waiting for the gate to open so that you can move forward. So I guess it's like that could be a bit of that anxiety. But if you get in there, I feel like please watch Virgo's reading. It'll help you to understand so you don't pick something apart unnecessarily, right? All right, let's look at January to see how this Need a few seconds. January. King of Swords. We'll take that. That's super powerful. Saturn shifts here, right? Feel like he's sitting in like peacock feathers, which is about rebirth, which kind of mirror this overall energy. Okay, so your mental space, you also have on the bottom of the deck, you have the Princess of Air, which represents control, like mental, like you control your own mind, right? There's clarity there. With that, there is success. Look at that, 10 of Pentacles and the 4 of Wands. So that access is solid. And maybe for some of you, that's what you're adjusting is 4th house, 10th house. So this is where you live. This is your job. These two things are really important. I guess if either one of those is not suiting to you anymore, well, you know what's not suiting to you anymore. But I don't feel like you want to rush anything. Again, and some things you're not going to be able to. But other things where the gate is open, it's good for you to walk forward. You want to approach it with, with a question, not with fear. Right? Like, embrace it. With courage. And that was another thing. I don't know if we mentioned Leo. Leo will be very helpful. They also had braids like you, too. Braids, you know, to the indigenous is like the mind, the body, and the soul, right? All combined. It's the Trinity. So I want you to trust yourself in, trust yourself. I do feel like things are finally lining up in a way maybe that they weren't before too. But this, I would also say, because your reading's coming out later on the, if we're using this as a linear time, this is representing your patience and your endurance and your ability, again, to let other people lead. And say everyone else walks, is like, say you're in the back, right? Where you're kind of like holding, you know, the person that's on the end is very important. They're just as important as the person in the front, which really, I guess it depends what direction you're going. But this is, again, it's trusting other people and giving you the space sometimes to be like, oh, I can finally just sit. Because even if you were all alone, and again, everyone else, it's like, you know where you are. You know what I mean? You know where you've been. And even if you don't completely understand where you're going, like how it's all going to happen, I feel like there's a really, because it's the king, it's so clear. It's because you have, it's like you figured out Aries and Pisces. So please believe in who it is that you are. Believe in your ability to share your love in the world. I would also say this is a wonderful time for beautiful ideas. Beautiful ideas. And actually, that which you've been working with in the past, this could even be like 4 or 5 years ago. That's also kind of looping back around, which is interesting. Like, it's like you've been gathering the pieces and now you can understand how they go together, or it's making more sense. especially if you've had like where you felt like your intuition was blocked or things didn't make sense. It's like it's just so clear now, or at very least there's little things that are giving you a kind of confirmation. Not like you need signs to ultimately understand, but it's helpful, you know, so you don't feel crazy, because you're not. No. I would also say please trust yourself in who you can lean on with other people and who you need to cut out of your life and turn away from. Death card, 10 of Wands, King of Swords. This is very powerful. Okay. Let's see, February. 9 of Cups. Awesome. This was actually in your... Yes, perfect. This card says content on it. So feeling so good, feeling safe, feeling it's like something is growing, becoming happier about it. You know, if you've already done the cutting out of people, of that which doesn't serve you, of that which only stresses you out. I mean, sometimes stress, you're ruled by Saturn. Sometimes stress, difficulty, what have you, restriction even, working through that and accepting, again, the changes and flowing with it. And you know, because when we're stuck and not happy, for instance, this is usually when we pray. This is when we connect to spirit more. It's when we take the time to be more in touch with our feelings, right? Queen of Cups, which is necessary for growth, right? Little wheels spin and spin, big wheel go around and around. And that's actually what's happening here a little bit. It's like you turn the little, because you gain, maybe you have those pieces and the piece goes in the thing and you turn it. It's like it fits right in there, which causes something that you've had in these places for a while to be able to start to move. It's like a whole mechanism. But it may take a while for it to happen. Like, because it's like one goes to the other, goes to the other, goes to the other. Again, it's like it starts to line up. I would also say that you're doing good with this is I guess that clarity of mind, you being able to trust. Well, I see that like love is on your side. Love is like there's no fear here. Because of that, then the mind is quiet. The soul feels more comfortable. So the water starts to flow. I guess when there's fear, what happens is like a gate goes up. It's almost like a dam. And then the water gets backed up. But if you acknowledge and understand do what you need to do, and then understand, give yourself time again to be quiet with yourself, then it's going to allow it to flow, and you can kind of control, be more in control of how this happens versus just the dam bursting open. It's like you're the gate controller, or like I did see the word gatekeeper, but it would be that of your own emotional nature. And the emotions here are actually extremely positive. Yes. And if they're not for some reason, then this would be a time to contemplate. Okay, why, for instance, or whatever it is that is not making you happy, or what it is that you know, again, because whatever needs to change is going to be so obvious this year, but you may not have all the information exactly on how to go about it. There will be tests of faith in that. But this is positive. This is very positive. This is inner security and emotional satisfaction. So I suppose this would also be being contented with what you have, especially with the Saturn transit this year. it's important for all people to be conservative, right? It would be better if something is broken, you try to fix it. If you can't fix it, then you ask for help, right? That would be a means of using a resource correctly. If it helps you, and therefore it will help someone else. But always try to do it yourself first. Because a lot of times that's what that helps a person to feel more courageous and feel better about where it is that they sit, where it is that they are. Okay. Let's see March. The Four of Swords. So we have the card of rest. We have another air energy. Well, this is a sextile to you. This is Pisces time. It is a beautiful time to rest. This is also 1994. It's like something finally, you have an opportunity to put peace in your soul about something. I would also say that it could be possible that this would be a month where that's pretty strong in ways of that ancestral energy or that family energy is really powerful. I don't know if you want to go visit people that have passed. Like, I don't know. It's acknowledging that which isn't here any longer, as well as acknowledging the fact that there is no disconnection ultimately from that if you want to connect with it. I would definitely take some time to contemplate. Make sure that you sleep well. You know, sleeping well, eating well, your diet and your sleep are the two main things that determine our lifespan and our health. And in this day and age, say over the last half a century, we used to sleep like 8 hours. Most people, is just 27. Most people nowadays sleep about 6 averagely. Say in a month span you work it out. So make sure that you give yourself time to replenish like this, because it's going to keep your mind clear, which is going to have the intuition be settled. Okay, so that you aren't, so when fear creeps in, you're like, I heard God loves me. No, and it's also understanding like, oh, I'm grumpy. You know, Aries talked about this once. It's like, if you get stressed, if you get whatever it is, you ask yourself, am I tired? Am I hungry? Kind of like a baby. You know what I mean? Like, just be aware of these kinds of things. Maybe there's kind of flower essences that could also help you, or things that smell good to you, that help you relax. Could also be something. Especially when it's overcast, remember that this is a time to be everything's a little more chill when it's overcast, right? Everything's usually a bit more chill in the evening, right? And it's been scientifically proven that staying up too late actually causes a person to think negatively, especially after midnight, okay? So make sure that you're also going to bed at a reasonable time. Okay, let's keep moving forward. What do we have here? I want to take a couple 20 seconds. the Fool. So there's a Major, which actually looks right up at Death. Okay, someone else I feel like had Fool here. I don't remember who. Okay, so whatever's happening this year for you, you already picked up on it. You already knew. If those of you who are smart already made a plan, it's like you've been kind of like preparing yourself mentally for certain things, having certain conversations have been had, the things you've been writing down, the things you've been dreaming about, the things you've been praying about. It's like, I guess this year is kind of working towards what you already knew. Fool certainly has you got to have a lot of faith with this card, right? But I would also say, as it's looking up at Death, and the Fool is basically about to fall off this, you know, let's take this in a plain way. Fool sometimes is plainly foolish, someone. So I would say that this could be where you want to be, you know, people could stub their toe. They could fall and hurt themselves. You want to be careful and pay attention with what you're doing. I wouldn't be too risky in this time. But there's also, this is more in the physical world, in the internal space. It would really be trusting and not being afraid of death, meaning of change, you know? This could be also where someone feels very free about something. Like, again, they're not scared. Nope. That is actually what creates success in something. This could be a time also when you free yourself from something. January, March, April all have the opportunity to be able to free yourself. This could also be a start of something brand new. I feel like this would lean more in like creative projects, in home. You also want to think about home in March. Home, family, what have you. Where you want to live, where you want to die. Things like that. Interesting. It's, oh, the Alpha and the Omega. I forgot to mention that. That too. I guess we're gonna leave that like that. It's not pulling anything else. We said what we need to say. Let's see, May. Oh, 8 of Wands. Powerful. So there's your, okay. May. So Jupiter moves forward here. Okay. You are so patient. So, all right, if Jupiter was moving through Aries, the Jupiter transit was squaring you. So you actually, a lot of you were being very patient and putting things in order in different ways, internally, externally, kind of, but it's a lot of internal though, like settling something, putting yourself at peace about something. All these cards, Fool, 4 of Swords, 9 of Cups, King of Swords, this is all like clarity. It's all peace and clarity, patience. Then in May, things really start to move. Oh, there's those pieces that I was talking about. It's like you get the little piece, you put it here, you turn it, then this starts to turn. When it does, it causes this one to turn and then keeps going. Okay, cool. This could also be, what am I seeing? Like, they have to do something with Libra, so maybe relationships with other people. Something's definitely picking up momentum. But it's not because sometimes this energy can be like confused where it's like, is it, with what you see, it could be like, is it moving forward or backwards? It's like what's important is that it's moving. That's what's important, there's movement. And it's this very present energy, just like in February. It's very present in this moment. Definitely movement in this time. Interesting. So this has to do with October and December. So this is also learning about relationships. Ace of Pentacles. Nice. This is also expanding upon love. Also, expanding upon that which you love. It's putting energy in different places too. The more you fill the emptiness in yourself, the more you're going to have that which is around you. Because you're not, something isn't as afraid anymore. It like filled that hole so that things don't just like fall into this empty place. It's like growing, that it's like when they do like little irrigation ditches, it's like this is happening so that when the water comes, it goes where you want. When something comes or something is created, then it goes where it is wanted to go, where someone has put energy, thought, foresight into it. I would also say if work has been a little bit slow, this definitely picks up. Also, this is also 6 and 8 months from now, which has to do with, what is that, 6 and 8? Is that 14? So this is faith in trying something new. It's extending creation too. It's like sharing what you've created, perhaps. Maybe there are things some of you were working on in the backdrop. Even though things are going forward, it's like you've been working on something again that you've been thinking about, writing about, praying about, feeling about, putting energy into, etc. Okay, so we have, and it's interesting too, we have water, air, and now fire. Let's see June. What do we have for time? We'll do 40, or 39 rather. Let's see June. There's some fire. Queen of Wands. Awesome. So the 8 of Wands turns into the Queen of Wands. This is the first energy that's looking... It's like you can reflect into the future. It's almost like sonar. You have sonar. Someone has sonar. Someone's also very intuitive. Oh, this is also air, fire. Being able to lean on one another. So perhaps for some of you, that's also, this could be people in your life. This is also this in your map. Where like the nodes change here, right? Or getting close to this. So, which are also going to be a square to you. Aries and Libra, right? And I guess that's where the energy and the message comes in. High Priestess, peace, unity, love, Chariot. Remember, this is a Chariot year. There you are, a person, a great person of Earth, okay? In this Chariot year, can't push the Chariot. I also feel like that's why you ended up in the line, right, in the Serpentine where you are now, is why I see because of your bravery. There's the Queen of Swords. We'll take that. And the Empress. Awesome. Okay, okay. So June, really powerful. This is a person that is they're intelligent, they are intuitive, they are creative, they are passionate, they are beautiful. They have an energy about them. They don't even have to necessarily exert it. It's just who they are is like going out into the future. And it's good energy. And the backing of this is that Eight of Wands, which I feel like so much positivity here. So much positivity here. This is also talking about creation again, or being also very creative in this time. She's also quite intuitive, which mirrors back into January. Very inspired in this time. I also say that this would be a time where you can kind of like, again, it's like someone can see the future in a way. They can also see themselves in others, but not necessarily, how to explain that? It's like they can see themselves in others. And they understand themselves enough as an individual to be able to truly have unity with that which they're creating because it's pure, with this fire energy. This would also be a nice time to be like, who do you want to be? Maybe you want to reflect into that. Very confident. Confident about the future, confident about who you are. Wherever you've been patient too in the right ways. This also gives you a position of power. There's also something too with that ancestral like spirit. And that sweet spot we were talking about. This is also some happy love. You know, she's very passionate too. This is also, let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about what can be. This is a conversation with yourself. This is a conversation with yourself, about you and other people. It's also having conversations with other people about. It has a lot to do with, though, if we back up to you and the way that you want to connect, the kind of people you want to interact with, expend your energy on, what kind of energy you get back. It's okay for you to know. I would also say January and June are also when you're sitting, but in May too. I feel like that's when you're on the horse of this Chariot year. And in May, the Chariot's really, the horsey's going pretty fast then. And in the cool thing is, in June, I feel like you're confident about that. Like you know how to, it's a good gallop. I don't know what the term is when you go a little bit faster than that, but it's like there's a flow to it, right? The horse and the rider are one, which is a rune. The horse and the rider. This goes back to that Libra too, right? You actually have one of the more positive energies for June. I really like that as a collective. All right, let's move forward. July. Okay, more fire. We have the Five of Wands. This is the runa Tyr, right? Which is Aries energy. This points right back up at January. So well, I guess this is when you get off the horse. And this could also be creative energy that is just off the chain. May, June, July. It's like so creative. There's a lot of fire here. Now, remember, your challenge was also fire. And that's a 10. So I would, even though you have a lot here and it's very positive, I would make sure that you check in with that eating well, sleeping well, setting timers to have a break at work, after work, before work, giving yourself space, right? Also, creative endeavors that have nothing to do, again, with anyone else. And then, of course, spending time with that which you love. It could also be where some of you go to travel to sun, beautiful. Travel to see people. This, you know, it's like love, you know that song, Love Will Travel? Love will travel. But let's also look at this in a hard way, because it's necessary with all fives are challenges. Five of Wands, I feel like someone else had this here too. Five of Wands is where sometimes it's hard to get things to work together or to fit together. But remember, in May, everything fit together and was moving correctly. Then, again, Queen of Wands comes in. It's moving really, starts to move really fast. It's almost like now you're adjusting the dial a little bit. Okay, the dial needs to be adjusted in July. I would also say this is where you have to trust yourself in ways of home, who it is that you're, you know, your children. It could be difficulties with children a bit for some, like argumentative kind of energy. You know, maybe it's like teenager energy. So if that's the case, then spend you know, what do they say? When the fishermen cannot, I love this saying, when the fishermen cannot fish, they mend the nets, right? If you can't do this, then what can you do? Just be aware of that, okay? Because it could be where there could be a little bit of a delay in this time. So this is where you'd want to take some time to use your imagination, right? Mirroring up into that King of Swords. Use your imagination, absolutely. We have the Princess of Cups and the Hanged Man. This goes back to March energy, Pisces energy, which is very creative. This also mirrors up into that place where the message was about rest, right? Again, you just used a whole bunch of fire. You're still in fire energy. So in that, you have to create and ensure that the water's within you. And it's tempering energy. I would also say if you get in your head too much and you can't seem to get your thoughts straight, you can't seem to focus, or you're looking at things negatively, please watch and remember Virgo's message. The very beginning of their reading, like up until the challenge, their challenge is what will help you, okay? There's another 8, which gives you, because you have this skill inside of you to ensure that you don't push something. Well, I heard God's house is a very, very, very fine house. I want to keep singing that song. It's like two dogs in the yard. Life used to be so hard. Now everything is better because of you. Because of you. Capricorn, you. I mean, this is also appreciating Like, even understanding sometimes, like, life is also better because of challenges at times, right? Like, thank you, ex-husband. Thank you, mean old dad. Thank you, sister. Thank you, instability. Like, thank you. And that could be it too. If there's challenges in this time, just be aware of it. You know, this card says endeavor on it, which means that endeavors take a while. You can't push it here, right? Again, you're not on the horsey this time. You have to dismount. The horse is tired, and you have to, what do they say? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink, so you and the horsey have to rest in this time. Remember that. But in that, you can also take some time again to be creative, to make some, you know, go back to the plans that you made the beginning of the year. Go back to the good energy. Remember how you were feeling prior, okay? You also already knew that you were going to have challenges this year, or there are things, again, your soul already knows that you are needing, that there are things that are needing to change, right? And it's good to not be afraid of them. I mean, your cardinal energy, you're usually not. But your ruler shifting, it does make it a little hard in, say, a collective way, in addition, especially if you're a sensitive person, okay? All right, let's see August. Ooh, 5151, cool. August. All right, 9 of Pentacles. Awesome. This mirrors, there's another 9. Look at this, 99. February and August. There's that air, fire energy. Okay, so Venus is in retrograde in this time. So I see no love potion number 9. Okay. If you're single, stay single. If someone creeps, if an old lover creeps up from the past, I guess you'd want to, if something creeps up, if an old thing creeps up from the past, same ways of dating, you'd really want to ask yourself, like, would I marry that person? Would you go all the way with that person? Can you see that? If you can't see it, if you don't believe it, well, I see then it's a pipe dream. Leave it alone. Yeah, because I keep seeing the Temperance card. It's like you want to be aware here that if you've already been there, done that, which to me is 7 year has to do with that. If you already been there, done that, the problems that were before are not going to be any different now. I mean, the ones in yourself, those could be adjusted, but within other people and where they're at, you can't control their skill set, okay? Or kind of like what they do. It just mirrored itself. It was like 53-35, which is a double 8. That's 16, it's the tower, right? If it's already been demolished, don't try to put something back together of the past. I would also say that it would be wise to be prudent in your money in this time, especially in any big purchases with Venus retrograde. You know, no outfits, no cars, no major haircuts, buying new outfits, you know, paint for the walls, you know, no surgery, like, I don't know why I just saw someone getting, like, plastic surgery, but it's just, love yourself, the way, love things the way that they are, because, and even if you're dissatisfied with it, it'll shift when Venus goes forward anyway. I would also say you don't need anything for the home. No. And if you are going to spend any money, I would just, again, be prudent about that and say to yourself, well, if you're going to spend money, it would be like, I'm going to spend money on good food. You know, it could be something, you know, again, eat well, sleep well. Eat well, sleep well. 6 of Cups and the Queen of Cups. So I guess this is a bit of a test of one's emotional satisfaction as well, or I can see that that exists in this time. I also see if you're the age of 59. Okay. I guess if you've also been dating someone casually and it's not serious, then this could be a time where you decide to be single again and be like, nah, I'm good. But it's no hard feelings. It's just like, again, it was already going that way. You know, you want to make sure that you nurture yourself in this time, right? And this is actually your first Earth, which is really beautiful. So you, like Taurus and Libra, oh yeah, and that's all the majors. You actually, I feel like you'll actually get, if you make the right choices, and this has to do with the past also, like when it's lined up, if it's lined up just right, you're going to get a present, or something will be, it's kind of like is it a gift? Yeah, maybe. Maybe. You know, maybe what you've also been wishing for shows up. If it does, just take it slowly in that time, one step at a time. Okay, whatever, yep, one step at a time. Just be patient. Use all your beautiful skills that you have. Just don't be too fantastical about something. Okay, and if there's any uncertainty, leave it alone. It's kind of like one of those things, like if it's not a heck yes, then it's a heck no. You know what I mean? And even if it is a heck yes out of nowhere, then, and again, if it has to do with something of the past, where there was conflict or there was delay or whatever it is, then that'll be the same thing now. Again, it's not gonna, you have to be smart about this. Okay. Let's keep moving forward. September. Ooh, Judgment. Another major. Hold on. Just taking note. 20 September. Wow. Oh, some of you do have a family member that passes this year. This, or it's likely. If you are going through that kind of loss, I'm sorry for your loss. Okay. You know, that saying, like, God has a plan for us all. I know sometimes it's hard to understand that. Like, what that really means. But over time, you'll come to find peace in yourself. I guess at this point, you could also come to find, this lines up, it's like death, and then the card of rest, the Four of Swords, and then Judgment all line up with one another. This is pretty powerful. Both of Judgment and the Death card both speak of the soul. Four of Swords is peace in that place. Okay. Oh, especially if you're able to. Part of the reason you're not supposed to even like casually have sex with someone, especially if you can get pregnant, if you're in a stage where you can still reproduce. It's like if you were intimate with someone that you wouldn't necessarily marry, you could end up having a kid, and then some of you could actually decide to not keep it. It could be a whole thingamajig. Like, it's like really complicated. So just be aware of that. A little side note. You know, you want to think to yourself, even if you're old enough to, like, you know, if say we're in this love energy and it's you're past the time of this happening, I guess as a woman, men don't stop, but it's like you'd want to go all the way to be like, okay, if this went, you know, again, can I see myself marrying this person? Can I see myself living with this person? Can I see myself with this person as a father or as a mother? You know what I mean? Like, go all the way with it. You'd want to consider that. This card also represents change. So there's a pretty strong line here. I feel like you have support in this time. I also feel like the mind is clear. There's a lot of faith in this card. This is a card of rebirth, right? This could also be where someone is baptized, or there's a baptism. There's a baptismal. Who's your godparents? Like your godmother, your godfather? Are you a godmother or a godfather? I suppose for some of you, this could also be where perhaps this year is a divorce year. If that is the case, I feel like, well, let's try to take this in the positive. If there's any situation where there are children involved, you want to make sure that you have a mediator to ensure that all works together well. I guess that's the point. You want to make sure that you have a mediator, yes, Queen of Swords, to ensure that everything works out well. Chariot, year, love, right? Not trying to force anyone to be anything particularly, but it's very important, people's perception of what they believe, right? People's moral standing is what connects us or doesn't. And I think it was in Zechariah that I was reading last night. It was in Corinthians. It talks about where, like, about marriage. And it's actually a very interesting, there's this one paragraph where it talks about, how do I explain it? It's like, if a person is with like, say a person is connecting to an unbeliever, you're allowed to connect. You can join forces. But if the unbeliever ever wants to leave, then you just allow that to be. So this is a deep, there's a card of success. So this is also in the card of victory. So there's successful judgment here. I guess this could also be where there's a celebration of something. Interesting. This is strong ancestral, again, family connections here too. Let's move forward. 104, where are we at? Let's do 17. October. Ooh, another 9. Triple 9. This card says preparation. I heard dun dun da da dun dun da da dun dun da da dun da da dun da da. Huh. Again, I see, I guess, a celebration with that. Was that the marriage song? So this mirrors that Fool energy. Can you see? It's almost like a hallway, right? There's a path here, and it's lit at the end. It shows you exactly where to go. You can't go off the path. This is so faithful, too. So here's more 9 of fire. Oh, okay. In August, the horse you get back on the horse, but it's like the horse has to cross a river. Okay? And actually, you have to, it's like you have to get to the river, again, have the horse eat, drink what it can, then it crosses the river August, September. Then you get back on the horse in October. Okay? That's where I keep seeing that, like, meet me down by the river. You know, in Armenia, one of their old traditions was when a man and a woman were to be, like, wanted to be together, and it usually would be that the man's mother accepted that first and foremost, because a mother knows her son best, right? A mother knows its child best, most likely. But what would happen is they would meet on either side of the river, and then he would ask her a riddle. He would, like, give her, like, a parable. And then they would go on their way, and then they would come back after a certain amount of days and they would meet in the middle of the river, and she would answer the question. And if the answer was answered, I guess what would be correctly, where they understood one another, then it would come together. So I guess, again, this is a time of, what's that about? Oh, so you've been preparing yourself spiritually for a while, right? This is also comes through your actions and the ability for you to kind of, how do I explain that? Well, you've made it this far, right? This is a 9. You had the 8 in May. Now you have the 9. So you gained 1. And that's the one that the Queen holds. And actually, between July and October, this emphasizes home, family, relationships. This also mirrors up into work, okay? I see this has to do Taurus energy, and there's gaining with that. And this comes through, again, your own action. I would also say this is a nice time for preparation, because you, remember, can kind of see the future, right? You're no fool. You know what needs to change when it needs to change. Almost all the cardinal signs, especially Capricorn and Libra, can see what the situation is, what needs to change, what could be better, how to be better. It's aware. And this is also having good morals. Remember, the horse is like, you're on a path, but you can't quite see what's around the bend. This is, again, present energy. Actually, October, September, and half of August are very present energy. So is February, May. Present in this moment, that's where you put your focus. This preparation is being present in this moment, October, but it's also, I guess you want to look back to April. This is also emphasizing the air-fire energy we were talking about. This is Libra, Aries. Just a minute. Well, this is also 9 months from the beginning of the year, right? So make sure, again, with this fire energy that you don't have to rush down this path because you're on the path. You can't go off the path. You can actually kind of relax, especially the more that you have prepared, right? Capricorn talked about this once where it's kind of like, it's not preparation out of fear. It's preparation out of responsibility so that you can relax, right? You clean the house before you go on vacation, right? You study before you take the test. You don't wait till the last minute, right? Don't wait for the last minute. I would also prepare, perhaps, how many is this? This has to do with next, the middle of next year. You're also preparing for that. Perhaps you test some things out this year too. But I see this isn't necessarily a time to start something new because you did that in April. Okay, you got to trust yourself right now. Again, this is also preparing for what you, like being like, okay, what do I need to learn about? Or being aware that you have come this far. And if there's anything that you're feeling where you're like, ooh, this is kind of spinning. And say that happy place, because there's joy here, but there's also kind of a, well, I see the words like preparation of prepare for marriage, which is being married to something is being devoted to it, right? Now we have the card of change and uncertainty. So again, just because you can't see around the bend doesn't mean that you're not on the right path. You have to remember that you're on the path. You could actually close your eyes because you and the rider and the horse are one. You could close your eyes and just allow the horse to go because it can't go out of the bounds. Okay, you can relax. Interesting. 112, let's do 11240. Let's see November. Two of Wands, you got a lot of fire. It's card of Dominion. So this is a very present energy also. So this mirrors, so there's success. Yes, Queen of Earth. There's success in your world due to you knowing like when to go and when to slow. You knowing when to allow someone else to lead and when you need to pick up the speed. It's like finding the rhythm of it. There's the card of love again and well-being, valor, and the Ace of Swords. Beautiful. Okay, so what is Two of Wands about? Well, Two of Wands is, well, this person understands the power in their own, like the value and the power of their own choice. They recognize they have a choice. Lovers, yes. They understand their previous choices, High Priestess, and how that has helped them to grow, how that has helped them to create healing and an opportunity to make your dreams come true, right? No one else does it for you, right? That goes into that Taurus energy, right? I mean, nothing is possible without spirit. It's very centered energy. It's not leaning one way or the other. It's like really, so you'd kind of want to hold position right now. Maybe this is one of those things, so the horsey comes down. This is where you, maybe it's kind of like you can take a left, right. Like you sort of have an option here. So maybe I would, with the two hands, I'm seeing where someone like kind of pulls in the reins a little bit, slows the horse down to a stop. You get off the horse. You're not off the horse, but you stop the horse. And you look around and you see what your options are. I wouldn't, this is not where the horse hauls ass. That's in May, right? Taurus, in Scorpio season, you never want to go too fast. Because again, you have options in and of yourself on which way you want to go. Okay? And actually, you're going right in the right direction. So I would give it until, I would give something a little while. Right, again, when the fishermen cannot fish, they mend their nets. I could also say this could be where someone is feeling really good about their what they're creating right now too. It's like they have a lot of power. They hold a lot of power in their hands. Okay, which is a Cancerian motto that they shared with us. You hold a lot of power in your hands. And again, try not to take this as a like a blockage where you're like, oh, I can't go any farther. It's more of I have opportunities here. And then it's using your wisdom and what it is that you know and your courage and your joy and that happy place and that ancestral awareness. You and me, right? Let's talk about you and me. Whatever you are, you and whatever you're connecting to. Right? All the good things, all the bad things that may be. It's wise sometimes to look at, be like, okay, well, if I go this way, what is the best case scenario? What is the worst case scenario? If I go this way, again, same. If you do that, then you're going to ensure more of your own success so that you are guided in the right way. Right? Don't be impatient in this time. This is also something, I guess when you were 28, so this is your first Saturn return. I also see 1992, and again, I see Libra energy. Remember, you're going in order here. So you're still, you don't have to, again, that relaxing energy, you can still have that. But now it's like your eyes are open and you're looking around. You're also paying attention to the horse and seeing how they feel, which I guess is your intuition. Give myself a few seconds. December. That's right. 10 of Pentacles. So this card says prosperity. This is your second card to come out. It goes from 9 to 10. Right in order. Okay? 9 of Cups, 9 of Pentacles. That turns into a 10. 9 of Wands. Here's your 10 right here. So you're getting an Ace of Wands and an Ace of Pentacles this year. And you're on your way to having the Ace of Cups. So for some of you where your job is good, where home is good, like, and those start to really be settled because you understand this power in yourself. You have this faith in yourself in this life and what you do for work because it's so important to you. Or just your work as a person, like whether this is as a family member, as a colleague, etc. Then this Ace of Cups, I feel like, is going to show up. Actually, you go to the 10 first before you get the Ace, so what is that? Well, that's feeling so good about work. That's feeling so good about family. That is good relations all around. People of different ages. It's a sunny day. It's a comfortable home. It's a nice piece of property. It has beautiful tree. You know, there's trees and there's fruit on the trees. You know what I mean? Oh, in one of your other readings too, it talked about where this, you don't have to, you know, courage. Here's the card of strength. Here's Leo's energy. I guess this emphasizes the feeling more creative at work. This is also, you know, you can pick that which is like within your reach if you want to. That's available to you. There's things within your reach that are totally available to you that create, I guess, part of what is this prosperity. But you don't necessarily have to pick the low-bearing branches. You can say to yourself, I want that one up there. That's the perfect apple. And then you figure out how to get up there. Whether you want to climb the tree, how you need to get up there. It could also be where at times it could be like, you know, could you help me do that? Or maybe while you're doing it, someone says, hey, would you like a hand? You know, this is people all working together. Again, for the greater good. Strength again. And the card of order and the card of lovers. And there's that King of Wands. You know, maybe for some of you, there was a relationship where it's like there are people you can lean on for sure. And that's important. But there's also people that you've had to cut out of your life. And if you already had before this year started in a healthy way, and you didn't fight the changes again, you accepted them, then this year will be much smoother. If you haven't, I suppose these will be what we talked about, or more tests, okay? But regardless, I see a lot of success. There's actually the 10 of Cups. So this shows me a lot of growth. It also reflects back into this Queen of Wands, which could kind of see the future, right? But she can't see necessarily, she couldn't see the whole thing, but she saw pieces of it. You know, it's like sprinkles of things. And it's like, it may be more than you even ever imagined in such a beautiful way. Such a beautiful way. Yes, it is so satisfying. Perhaps I would also say, oh, did someone else have the 9 of Cups in February? I feel like you want to make 9 wishes in February, or for this year. You know, you have all 3 9s, which actually break back down to a 9. So I guess your 9th house is also emphasized, which actually trines your first house of self. Okay, so this is, again, it will be, what's trying to happen here is it to be easier for you to have faith in yourself. Okay, to feel good about what you've learned, to feel steady in who you are, to feel faithful in the path. Okay, trusting in the path. Yes, clear mind, clear heart, etc. And protected in that. You know, jumping from the 9 of Pentacles, whatever that test was in August also, I feel like you pass it with this 10 here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That goes back to the Fool also. Because again, it's a big jump from the 9 of Pentacles to 10 of Pentacles. Because this is a person, again, that does everything on their own. And they spend a lot of time alone, which you need to settle yourself. And I feel like this year you will need to have a good adjustment of an awareness of time and space, your energy, your money, etc. This is also forward thinking, right? 10 of Pentacles is all the things, you know? It's life insurance, it's home insurance, it's It's a apple orchard that a person planted prior. You know, it's something that took a really long time to grow to get to this place. And it has a lot of comfort in it. I would also say at work you're doing very well. This is like where some of you could receive a bonus, or you could really go up in the ranks in a certain way. But it's not just for your own ego. It really is because of your hard work. It's also because of, I see, your management of time and resources. It's also due to your own confidence. And because for you to have, you want to have to be able to give, right? But not giving so much of all of your energy and all of your potency that you have nothing left for you, right? It's having a better awareness of the power, again, that you hold in your hands. This is also 2010. Or you could go back 12 years ago, which I guess is sort of a 10 to 12 year like gap, which is sort of a Jupiter gap. It also is 5 years of Saturn, right? And victory is yours. Remember, if you ever feel instability in yourself, you feel not confident where you are, you feel like you're sinking, you feel whatever, please ask yourself if you're hungry, if you're tired, if when's the last time you took a break? When's the last time you decided to create again on your own that has nothing to do with anyone else, and you do need time by yourself? Yes, Hangman and the Empress, to settle back into your body so your relationships with other people will be more unified. Okay, it also will help you with your money, home, family, etc. Okay. Yep. Watch your energy, especially if it ever gets a little cloudy, if it's too conflictual. Please also pray with all these, however you need to. Okay. Whoo! That's pretty powerful. I hope this was helpful. Thank you so much for being a part of this place, in this space. I know sometimes the readings here, I can tell, I'm aware, the messages that come through me in the way I'm set up and in this space, I know they're not always easy, and it's like going to school, all these nines. But what the purpose is to find peace in your soul, find peace in the mind, and to hopefully transform that which was painful or holding you back from your own happiness. And again, I know sometimes that's not the easiest thing to do, And so those places where you have worked towards that, and this was your intention, and any of you who are here, I want you to remember that you have really completed a lot in yourself, and you've done a lot of really beautiful work in releasing your sorrow, and I applaud you for that. It's hard to change and face our fears, and so thank you for doing that. And I see that, again, the more that you have in yourself, the more that you have in your world, and handled it, then the smoother this ride is going to be. I also see that whatever it was in November when you were looking left, right, you choose the right path, because the next step is the Ten of Pentacles. You make the right choice. Could already see the future anyway. Somewhat. Cool. Well, thank you for a beautiful 2022. I wish you the best 2023. Thank you for being a part of this space. Thank you for your patience also. I really had to work through, like, get past that Cancer moon, your opposing energy. I feel like I had to get closer to Mercury moving forward and Saturn moving. It's like it was a lot. But I guess, again, this is also about trusting yourself, trusting other people, also allowing, you know, it's not being afraid if you are alone. It's not being afraid of what you're going to do. And understanding that you do have support, okay? And when you feel like you don't, then, well, I guess what you're trying to come towards is also people in your life that are also look at life the same way you do. You know, they perceive it that way. They plan like you do. You understand, again, it's like I'm seeing this again where the two meet in the middle of the river, and there's the King of Wands. Okay. I love you so much. Please take care. Remember to be creative too. This is pretty powerful stuff. Okay? Believe in your talents. Believe in, you know, what you can create. Okay? Happy love. Take care.